This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Overnight, a driver leading police on a chase across the Circle City, even crashing into an officer at one point.
How the suspect was eventually taken into custody.
This time of year is the deadliest time for teen drivers. I'm Erin Lish. We're going to have a little bit from driver's ed instructors as they hit the road.
Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Elena Martella is keeping an eye on your morning commute. But first, we want to get things over to meteorologist Todd Clausen, who is keeping an eye on our weather.
And it's a pretty good forecast for us here throughout the day today. That's the good news. There are some rain chances. You'll hear me mention them, but just know they're very late in the day today. And most of the daytime hours, or the daylight hours, will be completely dry. We're in the 50s and 60s this morning, so temperatures are nice and comfortable. The humidity, that is still nice and low for us as well. And here's a live look outside, and there's a little more in the way of cloud cover. So yesterday we were near perfect, right? There was hardly a cloud in the sky. The wind was light. Temperatures warmed real quick once the sun came up. There's a little more in the way of cloud cover out there this morning. Some of this will burn off, so we'll just call it partly cloudy to start. But this rain will stay off to our west for a good chunk of the day today. And as it approaches, it kind of weakens a little bit as well. So throughout the day today, we'll see the clouds increase. So I think we'll go from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy across the area. But with the sunshine this morning, temperatures jumped to the low 70s. The Indians play at 1:30. If you're heading to that, you're in fine shape with temperatures that'll be in the mid 70s. We'll talk more about those rain chances that do increase later on this evening, coming up in just a few minutes. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-70 at Sam Jones Expressway. So this is down on the southwest side, and you can see right now traffic is moving through just fine, and those roads are dry for your morning drive. But let's take a look at this area right now. If you're coming in from that southwest side, heading eastbound on I-70 from Ronald Reagan Parkway up to I-65 downtown should only take you 12 minutes. So as you saw from our INDOT traffic camera, traffic's moving through without delay.
Elena, thank you. Breaking news overnight, a suspect is in custody after leading police on a chase across the city before crashing into an apartment complex playground.
The chase started when police tried to pull over a driver for a routine traffic stop at 86th and Michigan on the north side. The driver took off and weaved across town, then to the west side. At one point, officers tried to do a pit maneuver to stop the driver, but instead he crashed into an IMPD cruiser. The officer is expected to be okay despite that crash. Eventually, the driver turned into an apartment complex near 38th and Lafayette. After crashing into the playground and getting out of the car, he was apprehended by a canine officer. Right now, officials are trying to work to track down 3 people charged with animal abuse so they can be arrested.
The suspect's charged after video went viral showing animals at Fair Oaks Farms in northwest Indiana being abused. Santiago Contreras, Edgar Vasquez, and Miguel Serrano are all being charged with misdemeanors for beating an animal. Again, police are still working to locate the suspects and take them into custody. RTV6 was first to report that video shot last year showing workers abusing calves at Fair Oaks, which is one of the state's biggest agritourism operations.
This morning, the search has ended for this man who ran off during his trial. Jefferson Griffin was found guilty on child molestation charges by a Rush County jury back in March. But while out on bond, he failed to show up at the courthouse. Just this week, he was sentenced to serve 46 years in prison. Then on Tuesday morning, he was located in West Virginia. He'll now be transported back to Indiana to serve time behind bars.
Many students are now out of school for summer break and will spend even more time in cars and out on the road.
It should be cause for concern for parents as we are now in the 100 deadliest days on the road. Our Erin Lish joins us live with when those 100 days begin and why summer is so risky for young drivers.
Good morning. So it began on Memorial Day, and on average, 260 teen drivers are killed in crashes every month in the summer. To put that into perspective, that's a 26% increase than any month in the entire year. So we have what you need to know from driver's ed instructors. If you're driving and looking at your phone,
you're thinking about your conversation and you stop checking and scanning.
For teen crashes, data shows they are caused by texting or talking. Driver's ed instructor Mike Ward catches students getting distracted.
We go by a speed limit sign, I'll say, what did that traffic sign say? And a lot of times it's what traffic sign.
National data collected also finds speeding is a factor in about 1/3 of all deadly crashes involving a teen driver.
When you come to an intersection, slow down. If you're going too slow, you can always speed up. But if you're going too fast, something bad's going to happen.
For the first 180 days, Indiana teen drivers, with some exceptions, can't have passengers under 25. AAA says when teen drivers have only teens in the car, the fatality rate for all people goes up by 51%. In contrast, when passengers 35 or older ride with a teen, the rate drops by 8%. Ward says teach good habits to your teen drivers.
People need to set a good example when they're driving because, they're going to be watching you drive. And lots of times they're going to be a driver just like you are.
Ward says if your teen drivers are taking these driver's ed classes, most insurance companies will provide a discount until they are 25 years old. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to hear from one mom as she's providing awareness about these new drivers on the road. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Erin, thank you. A new partnership in Indiana is aiming to help protect and educate elderly people about abuse, scams, and financial exploitation. It's called the Indiana Council Against Senior Exploitation, or InCASE. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, what does InCASE do?
So essentially, Nicole, the goal of InCASE is to help educate seniors in our community about different types of abuse and also different types of different types of risk factors and red flags to look for to ensure that they don't become the victim of a scam here in Indiana. Now, there is about $36 billion lost to financial exploitation, abuse, and scams by elderly people in America every year. Many of these scams are done over the phone or online. By the year 2030, it's estimated that 1 in 5 Hoosiers will be over the age of 65. This is going to create a growing marketplace for people looking to take advantage of vulnerable adults. With an increasing elderly population in our state, InCASE is a one-stop shop for resources that can help these people stay safe and prevent becoming a victim of all types of fraud. The resources are also aimed at caregivers and family members to educate them on what to look for when it comes to signs of elderly abuse. Now, if you are interested in getting involved in InCASE or just want to learn more about some of those resources that are available on their website, you can go to our website, RTV6, and just click on this story. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Today, Redline Construction will close a portion of College Avenue on the north side. As long as the weather holds up, crews will close College at Broad Ripple Avenue to install bus pads at that station. This is just the latest in a series of closures that have happened in the past few weeks. Neighbors who live on residential streets nearby say they've noticed.
We were hoping that there'd be some more of a presence on the side streets to make sure that people don't just cut through the neighborhood at high speeds and run stop signs.
This was a quiet neighborhood. You'd never know it now. This is just a little residential street, but we've just had 6 cars go through in the last 30 seconds.
More Redline work continues tomorrow. Crews will be repaving along College Avenue from 38th to 66th Streets as long as it's not raining.
Access to CBD products is getting even easier. Kroger will now sell the products at their grocery stores. The company plans to sell CBD lotions, balms, oils, and other items in 17 different states. That includes 81 locations here in Indiana. Kroger is joining a few other major retailers like CVS and Walgreens that will sell the products. Simon Malls is also letting retailers set up stands at their malls, including Castleton, to sell CBD products.
Today, hundreds of first responders and airport workers will prepare for an emergency. The Indianapolis International Airport will host an airport preparedness exercise, something required by the FAA to happen every 3 years. Volunteers will simulate a plane crash emergency staged near a plane, all wearing makeup to imitate injuries. First responders and airport personnel will then run through what they would do in case of an emergency. The exercise is happening around 10 this morning. You will be able to see it from Terminal B, but it will not impact normal airport operations.
Strawberry lovers, listen up. Final preparations are underway for this year's Christ Church Cathedral Strawberry Festival. This happens every year on the Circle. It's the 54th year the church will be selling homemade strawberry shortcake and ice cream. And they say they are ready for the crowds, bringing in 6 tons of strawberries.
Pro tip, Starting at 9, you can go into the basement and you can do carry out, which usually is a little bit quicker. You can get them a little earlier.
Well, you heard it there. Carry out starts at 9 tomorrow morning. Then at 9:30, they start selling on the Circle. It is cash only, and they will keep selling until they are sold out. Todd, you said you go every year.
I do. I make the walk down. I get it. And then make the walk back to the station. So it's about a mile, but certainly a great event. It's always packed. I obviously get there a little earlier than the noon hour since we have to do the noon show, but certainly head down there tomorrow. There's some rain chances in the forecast, so you may have to grab the umbrella. As far as rain chances today, you do not need the umbrella this morning. You do not need it this afternoon. You do need it this evening, though, as we will start to bring in some storm chances here and there. So the rain itself is off to our west right now, and as it makes its way eastward, it's going to be running into some dry air. So a lot of what you see right now on radar is going to eventually evaporate before it reaches the ground, but then eventually things start to saturate the atmosphere, and eventually some spotty showers start to build in. Temperatures today, they will be in the 70s to right around 80 degrees, so it's a nice mild day for us once again, and we'll be dry at least through about 6 o'clock. We'll talk more about those rain chances coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Still ahead, sparking an interest in the electrical industry, how one local company is incorporating on-site classrooms to help build the next generation of electricians. Next in Hiring Hoosiers.
Plus, the deal that shut down some Build-A-Bear stores last year is back. The changes the company is making to the pay-you-age deal to help deal with the lines. That's coming up next. Elena.
Here's a look at I-65 at 38th Street. This is over on the west side. You can see it's light outside now. Those roads are dry and traffic's moving along just fine. Time now is 6:11. You're watching RTV6. Stay with us.
Now at IndyZoo.com.
Hiring Hoosiers is our initiative from RTV6 focused on connecting you to jobs, resources, training, and education. A nationwide shortage of electricians has forced one local company to turn to much younger workers.
RTV6's Rafael Sanchez explains how they plan to expand a program that added high school classrooms to their facility.
The people in this room are plugged into the reality.
There you go. Yeah, just change it.
That they were needed on the job yesterday. But everything they do today will fill a pipeline.
These are the neutrals.
Desperately seeking skilled labor.
This is the hots.
Specifically, electricians. How deep is that shortage locally for you?
It's really, the shortage is really deep. I mean, we literally are searching for folks that are willing to be trained, retrained in maybe they're in an industry that no longer exists because of technology.
Gaylor Electric made room for a high school classroom in its facility in Noblesville 2 years ago. It's called The Crossing. High school students receive state-mandated coursework in the morning, and then Gaylor takes over with hands-on training. Sam Gaunt is among the first graduates of the school.
Just being around this environment and learning so much, I just decided that this is what I wanted to do with my life, because these are very tangible skills. Like, everybody always needs an electrician.
Upon completing the program, he was hired at Gaylor as an apprentice. The need for more electricians is so dire that Gaylor is investing in a new $8 million facility. It will house an additional 2 classrooms to expand the number of high school students they can train to about 100 every year.
And what I've seen is once they have a career, the hope, I mean, they just have this hope about them. They become a great student, too.
The new space will also help in upgrading the skills of the current workforce, especially on the latest advances in technology.
Our industry changes consistently with technology. We think we'll have kids that will stay with us for 30 and 50 years. And so the idea is to try to get them when they're this young, teach them that there is a career, there's upward advancement, upward movement, all the way to the president of the company. Like I said, I started as an intern here.
That was our Rafael Sanchez reporting. Gaylor works with area schools to help them fill the spots in their house training program.
For more information, you can click on this story on hiringhoosiers.com. And tomorrow, our career coach has advice on how students are turning their school successes into employment. It is 6:17 right now. The sun is starting to rise out there, Todd. You've got a shot of that behind you.
Yeah, pretty nice sunrise taking place. This is the view from IMS looking back off towards the east past downtown Indianapolis. So you see some blue sky. You also see a little more in the way of cloud cover, especially compared to yesterday when it was a beautiful day from start to finish. So today's not quite as perfect as it was yesterday, but overall it's a decent day for the middle half of the week for us. 59 degrees right now. The wind is calm. The dew point is still at 50 degrees. That's a very comfortable level. And so we are not dealing with any humidity issues here throughout the day today. However, that will be changing in this forecast. Next week looks to be a very uncomfortable week for us with high humidity and also numerous storm chances. So temperatures right now are currently in the 50s and 60s. The cool spot is 51 in Greencastle. Muncie's the warmer spot at 60 degrees right now, 52 in Bloomington, 54 in Lafayette. And here's your hour-by-hour breakdown as far as the temperatures go. So with the sunshine this morning, we'll see our temperatures moderate quite quickly. 71 degrees for your noontime temperature. And then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, we'll see our temperatures climbing all the way up into the mid to upper 70s. So the temperatures not bad, very comfortable for this time of year, even though we'll be a degree or two below normal. You won't even really notice the difference with that June sun being fairly strong. So here are the clouds that we have out there. And again, the sun, as it gets higher above the horizon, will burn some of this cloud cover off. And then off to our west, that's where we're dealing with some scattered showers. And this will be making its way towards us, but it's running into some dry air. So initially, a lot of these showers are just going to evaporate. So if you pull up the app on your phone, the Storm Shield app, and you look at the interactive radar, it'll probably show some rain off to our west, but just know a lot of that probably won't reach the ground until closer to sunset. So here we are at 2 o'clock, partly cloudy skies as we work our way into the 9 o'clock hour. Again, it's just a hit or miss shower across the area. And it's really once we get into the overnight hours and then Thursday that we deal with more in the way of rainfall. So tomorrow's forecast, I think the first thing that obviously jumps out at you is the temperatures. It's a real cool day for us for our Thursday tomorrow with a high temperature only right around 63 degrees. Then we also have the showers in the morning hours. And these showers will be with us already for the morning commute. Could be a rumble of thunder, but no severe weather is expected tomorrow morning. And then these showers, unfortunately, look like they'll linger into the afternoon hours. Yesterday, the models were kind of pushing it off to the east a little bit quicker. It doesn't look like the case today. So we'll maintain some shower chances into the forecast heading into Thursday afternoon. But once that system departs, it's a beautiful day for us on Friday. Sunshine, 75 degrees. The weekend, storm chances return. Saturday, they're pretty spotty. Sunday, they become a little more numerous across the area. And then we'll continue to have more scattered showers and storms in the forecast Monday and Tuesday with temperatures in the low 80s.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-65 at 38th Street. So this is over on that west side. It's light outside right now, and you can see traffic's moving along just fine. Looks actually pretty empty out there on the roadways for this hour. Let's take a look at the map. If you're coming along this route, heading in southbound on I-65 from I-865 up in the dogleg down to I-70, it should only take you 17 minutes. So as we just saw on our live in-dot traffic cameras, traffic's moving along without delay.
Elena, thank you. Emotional testimony on Capitol Hill from Jon Stewart, the comedian best known for making late-night jokes.
But on Tuesday, he was angry, scolding Congress for failing to fully fund a program that supports sick and dying 9/11 first responders. Stewart has been a longtime advocate for responders. The September 11th Victim Fund will run out of money in December of 2020. This week, lawmakers had the chance to keep the fund running for the next 70 years, but only 12 of 41 committee members showed up.
Your indifference costs these men and women their most valuable commodity, time. It's the one thing they're running out of.
After hearing other lawmakers on the committee said they support the bill and were monitoring the hearing from afar.
New overnight, lawmakers in Hong Kong are delaying a debate on a controversial extradition bill as thousands of protesters block streets near government offices. Police tried to break up the crowds with tear gas and water canyons. Many worry the bill will infringe on civil rights if people are allowed to be extradited to China. Another concern is China will use the bill to target political opponents in Hong Kong.
Do you remember these crowds last year? People lining up for hours to take part in Build-A-Bear's Pay Your Age special. Well, the deal is back, but changes are in the works to help with crowd control. This year, you will need a ticket. You can get one of the 200,000 being offered on Build-A-Bear's website. You do have to sign up by June 16th, though, to get one. If you don't sign up in time, Build-A-Bear says they will offer the Pay Your Age deal all year on birthday bears, meaning you can get this special pricing once a year during your child's birthday month.
Still ahead, a neighborhood pest problem, and we're not talking about bugs. A look at the turkey vultures that have set up home in Greenwood and what neighbors can try to do to get rid of them. That's coming up in 15 minutes.
Plus, the women's national soccer team putting on a big show at the FIFA World Cup. The record-breaking night they had as they look for another championship after the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 6:25. Here's a look at I-65 at I-465 on the northwest side. You can see right now everything's moving along just fine for your morning drive without backup or delay.
Elena, thank you. The U.S. women's soccer team is not messing around as they look to defend their FIFA World Cup title. They opened this year's tournament with a dominating win over Thailand, 13-0.
For some context, the U.S. men's national team has scored 13 goals combined over the last 379 days. The results set a record, the most goals ever scored in the FIFA World Cup. Alex Morgan also had a record-breaking night, picking up 5 goals for the team. While the team celebrated as they came off the field, they are already focused on the next game. They take on Chile Sunday at noon.
Not a bad start.
No. I left my house and it was 4-0, and I went for a bike ride, and I came back and I saw the final score. I was like, holy smokes,
yeah.
They've been crazy with those goals.
Talented group of gals there.
They are, very much so. All right, outside right now, we have beautiful sunrise taking place across the area. Here's the view from IMS off towards the east. I've seen some of better sunrise pictures, though, on social media here this morning. So if you get one of those, send it to one of us here. 54 degrees in Logansport right now, 52 in Bloomington, 60 in Muncie. Will be partly cloudy this morning, then mostly cloudy this afternoon. The rain showers that will hold off until closer to sunset. So for the most part, it's a dry day today with those high temperatures, as you see there, anywhere from 75 to 80 degrees.
Todd, thank you. Why summer is the deadliest time for teen drivers when they hit the road. The important safety warning for parents as their teens are behind the wheel more often. That's coming up.
10 a.m. Saturday, only at Ashley Home Store.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Breaking now at 6:30, a man on the run from police ends up slamming his vehicle into a police cruiser. We have the details on that dramatic chase across Indianapolis overnight and how officers finally brought him into custody.
And it's an important information and reminder for every parent with a young driver. The warnings as we enter the 100 deadliest days of the year for young people behind the wheel. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is here. We have a beautiful sunrise this morning, Todd. Hopefully that's a preview of a beautiful day ahead.
Yeah, you know, it's a decent day ahead. Yesterday was a perfect day with lots of sunshine and that low humidity. The humidity's still low today, just a little more in the way of cloud cover around. But overall, we can call it partly cloudy. This view is to the south from downtown Indianapolis as you look past I-70 and then beyond. And you can see there's a little bit of cloud cover out there this morning. Clearer skies off towards the east. 57 in Kokomo right now. 52 in Bloomington. 60 is the current temperature in Muncie. And you see, while there are some clouds around, we are completely dry. There's no threat of any rainfall throughout the first half of the day today. These showers off to our west. A lot of these will break apart as they make their way towards the area with a hit or miss shower or two. So this morning, as we work our way hour through it, you will be dry. You notice with some sunshine, we warm pretty quick. Already up to about 72 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. hour. And then once we transition into the afternoon, we remain dry, but skies do become mostly cloudy as the day goes on with high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Rain chances arrive around sunset tonight. We'll talk more about those rain chances and how long they linger across the area coming up in just a few minutes. But at 6:31, it's time for an update on the roads with Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. The good news is not too much is happening on the roads right now. Let's hope it stays that way for your morning drive. Coming in from this northeast side, heading southbound on I-69 from Huntington Avenue down to I-465. Should only take you about 5 minutes, so everything's moving along just fine without delay. Let's take a look at this area right now. This is that stretch I just showed you. I-69 at 106th Street rings true over here. Dry roads for your morning drive, and if you're heading out the door, should be smooth sailing.
Elena, thank you. Breaking news overnight: a suspect is in custody after leading police on a chase across the city before crashing into an apartment complex playground.
This all started when police tried to make a routine traffic stop near 86th and Michigan Road. The driver took off and weaved across town to the west side. At one point, officers tried to do a pit maneuver to stop the driver, but instead he crashed into an IMPD cruiser. The officer is expected to be okay despite the crash. Eventually, the driver turned into an apartment complex near 38th and Lafayette. After crashing into the playground and getting out of the car, he was apprehended by a K-9 officer.
One person is recovering this morning after a plane crash in Greene County. Indiana State Police tell RTV6 that the small plane crashed just after 9 last night near Swith City. State Police tell us the pilot was taken to a Terre Haute hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police tell us they're not sure if the plane was trying to take off or land when it crashed. State troopers are now handling the investigation.
The summer months are a fun time for kids across our area as they take a break from that daily school grind.
But as teens are out of the classroom and out on the roads more, our Aaron Lish is live with why starting on Memorial Day begins the 100 Deadliest Days. That's a scary title, Aaron.
It really is. So an average of 10 people die every day in crashes involving teens during these 100 deadliest days. And that is about a 14% increase than the rest of the year. Remember how excited you were and maybe a little bit scared and intimidated when you first got behind the wheel? Well, that's what one family wants you to remember as more teen drivers get on the roads.
It was a little scary at first.
While practicing in the parking lot, teen driver Brennan Westfall recalls her first time driving on the roads.
I was kind of nervous.
And there was a reason, says Brennan's mom, Amanda Westfall.
I couldn't believe the number of drivers that, honked at her. There was at least 3 of them.
So Westfall bought these.
They say, please be patient, student driver.
Brennan echoes the message now on her family's Jeep.
You just have to be patient, and if you see, even if, the student driver magnet helps, if you see it, just know that, okay, they're new at this, they're learning, they're trying their best.
Data shows teens have the highest crash rate of any age group. An average 260 teens are killed in car crashes each month during summer.
Okay, slow, slow, slow. It's 5 miles per hour.
Westfall says be conscious of these drivers while practicing the rules of the road.
We're all teaching, be mindful of everything around you. It's not just you on the road.
So AAA says continue practicing with your teen, especially those times of rush hour traffic, going into the city, poor weather conditions, as well as night driving. And something else that you can do with your teens is print this out from AAA. It shows different driving rules and the consequences if they break them. We will have more tonight on RTV6, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. This morning, a homicide investigation continues at the Miami Correctional Facility in Bunker Hill. Corrections officers say 70-year-old Lanny Morgan was found unresponsive in his cell early Monday morning. An ambulance was called and Morgan died on the way to the hospital. Investigators say Morgan's death is suspicious and autopsy results are pending. Morgan had been locked up since 2011 on child molestation and incest charges.
An investigation is underway this morning after a man died while trying to put out a fire at a home he was visiting. Firefighters were called to the house on Kitley Avenue, northwest of 38th and Shadeland, around 8:30 last night. Investigators say 63-year-old Doug Martin died as he tried to put out a fire in the garage of the home. 3 people have died in fires just this week.
A former Indiana funeral director is without a license this morning. The State Board of Funeral and Cemetery Service, revoked Matthew Fitztham's license late last week. He owned Simple Cremations and Burial in Clinton before it closed. In 2017, state police say Fitztham crashed a company vehicle while carrying a deceased person. His blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit.
A new partnership here in Indiana is aiming to help protect and educate elderly people about abuse, scams, and financial exploitation. It's called the Indiana Council Against Senior Exploitation, or InCASE. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, what does InCASE aim to accomplish?
So the main goal with InCASE is to educate seniors in our community, specifically on topics like types of abuse and exploitation, as well as risk factors and red flags to look for to ensure that they don't become victims themselves to some of these fraud scams that are out there. Now, every year, elderly people in America lose more than $36 billion to financial exploitation, abuse, and scams. Many of these are done over the phone or online. By the year 2030, it's estimated that 1 in 5 Hoosiers will be over the age of 65, creating a growing marketplace for people looking to take advantage of vulnerable adults. And with an increasing elderly population in our state, InCASE is a one-stop shop for resources that can help these people stay safe and prevent becoming a victim of all types of fraud. Now, the resources are also aimed at caregivers and family members to help educate them on what to look for when it comes to signs of elder abuse. Now, if you do want to get involved in InCASE, it is open to the community. You can get more details on how to get involved in some of the resources they provide on our website and RTV6.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Homeowners have reached out to RTV6 about an unusual problem that could happen to anyone. Turkey vultures are swarming a neighborhood in Greenwood. It's not an issue handled by wildlife officials, but the Department of Natural Resources has advice for people dealing with the flocking nightmare. They say you should make loud noises like clapping or even using firecrackers when the birds come home to roost, or you can use a hose to scare them away. They also say consistency is key, and you've got to scare them off every night to drive them away.
When I see them, I chase them down and I smack these together. And the noise and the echo usually scares them.
If turkey vultures don't leave and start damaging property, they can be killed, but you do have to apply for both state and federal permits and demonstrate you have exhausted all efforts to scare them away. A DNR spokeswoman says they prefer people not to kill turkey vultures, but instead scare them off.
An historic groundbreaking will happen today in Noblesville. Construction will start on a mixed-use development project between 8th and 9th Street off of Maple Avenue. The apartments will be the first located downtown in more than a century. The $24 million project, called the Levinson, will also include a parking garage and space for retail businesses or offices on the bottom floor. It is 6:39. Let's get over to Todd.
All right, a decent day in store for us once again as you walk out the door this morning to maybe take the dog for a walk. We're going to give you the green paws here. Our featured dogs of the day today are Kobe and Gino. Thanks to Liz for sending them in. They're sitting there on the stairs all ready to go for their morning walk here. And here are those green paws for you with temperatures in the 50s this morning, nice and comfortable. Eventually going into the 70s later on this afternoon with increasing clouds. With that said, though, most of this rain will hold off until later on this evening, closer to sunset and then beyond. So if you are heading to downtown for the Indians game, it's a 1:35 first pitch here this afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures around 74, about 78 as that game wraps up with mostly cloudy skies, but no threat of rainfall during the game. We'll talk more about those rain chances for you this evening coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. President Trump's son is set to testify for a congressional committee today. What he's expected to talk about this morning.
And forget sitting in traffic in your Uber. Just ahead, the company's newest vehicle that could change the game. game. It's 6:41. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back. President Donald Trump will welcome the president of Poland for talks at the White House today, but most eyes will be on Capitol Hill. After initially balking at the committee's subpoena, Donald Trump Jr. is expected to testify behind closed doors before the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee today. The interview is expected to last between 2 to 4 hours. He'll be grilled on several Russia-related matters, including that 2016 June Trump Tower meeting in which a Russian lawyer promised dirt on Hillary Clinton.
A second person has been arrested in the investigation into the shooting of former Red Sox star David Ortiz. There's no indication that he's the suspected shooter. Ortiz is recovering in a Boston hospital following a second surgery. He took his first steps after the procedure Tuesday. Stanford's former sailing coach will be the first person to get sentenced in the college admissions cheating scandal today. John Vandemore admitted to accepting more than $600,000 in bribes from applicants he designed as sailing recruits, even though they had no sailing experience. He was fired the very same day he pled guilty. Prosecutors are recommending he get a 13-month prison sentence and 1 year of supervised release.
As we are expecting more rain today, people living just to our west are dealing with far bigger problems. The Mississippi River is still forcing people out of their homes. Take a look at the scene near Cape Girardeau, Missouri. The Coast Guard had to boat 17 people out of this mobile home park. In Illinois, officials say today marks the 94th day of flooding. Unfortunately, the water isn't expected to go down anytime soon.
And come take a look at this. This is a radar loop just put out by the National Weather Service in Cleveland. That is not rain. That is actually a swarm of mayflies. As you can see, they are swarming the western portion of Lake Erie near the Toledo area. Ooh, yikes.
I thought you were going to say ladybugs again.
I mean,
because remember we had the story in California about the ladybugs?
Right. I think I'd rather see a swarm of ladybugs than mayflies.
Good
That's
luck,
for certain. Yes, lots of good luck.
I'd agree with that. I'll take the ladybugs. All right, outside right now, we don't have to worry about any of that. We will have radar going here for you throughout the day today. Won't show anything until later on this evening. That's when we start to bring in the chance of maybe a few spotty showers, but it's a dry morning here. As you look here off to the west now across the campus of IUPUI and White River State Park, 59 degrees. The wind is calm. The dew point is low. It's a comfortable day for us. You don't have to worry about any humidity out there. And temperatures this morning range anywhere from 50 to 60 degrees. So we have about a 10-degree temperature spread this morning. 52 in Richmond, 51 is the current temperature in Greencastle, 60 right now as you make your way up into the Muncie area. So skies will be partly sunny here this morning, and with that sunshine, temperatures in the 60s to right around 71 degrees by 11 a.m. and then partly cloudy skies heading into the afternoon hours, and then eventually this evening high temperatures climbing to the mid to upper 70s. But this afternoon you will notice the clouds starting to increase across the area. It becomes mostly cloudy, but as the clouds come in, most of the showers will hold off until after sunset for us. That is the good news. And you can already see some of these high, thin clouds sneaking in here on the satellite radar picture. And then off to the west, there's this band of rain. It's just some spotty showers for the most part right now, with a little more of a steady rain to the north. And as these showers come towards us, a lot of them are going to be running into that dry air. So the dew point is always only 50 degrees, and that's telling us that the air is really, really dry. So as a lot of these showers start to fall, the rain evaporates before it even reaches the ground. So if you do have plans today, you are completely fine through the 2 o'clock hour, even through the evening commute. You should be fine. So once we get to the evening hours, some isolated storms will start to flare up, or isolated showers, I should say, more than storms across the area. The better chance for any storms would be heading into tomorrow morning. So this evening, just know that there's a shower threat, especially the further and further you get throughout the evening hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 70s and eventually falling into the 60s. Now, tomorrow is a different story. Tomorrow's a lot cooler. We're only looking at a high of about 64 degrees. So that is going to be running about 15 to 16 degrees, even 17 degrees below normal in spots tomorrow. And we'll have to contend with some scattered showers. So 64 in clouds is a lot different than 64 in sunshine this time of year. And here are those showers that you see rotating through the area tomorrow. So tomorrow's probably potentially the wettest day that we have left this entire work week, or even for the week that matter. As Saturday, I think the storms will be pretty spotty. So tomorrow is going to be chilly, but we make up for it on Friday. Friday, 75 degrees with mostly sunny skies. It's going to be very, very nice across the area. Perfect weather as we kick off Italian Fest for Zubilation on Friday evening as well. We're in tip-top shape. And then as we get into the weekend, chance of storms on Saturday, they're pretty spotty. Better chance of storms into the forecast for the day on Sunday. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. When you're taking to the roads, not much is happening out there right now. Coming in from the southeast side, heading northbound on I-74 from Acton Road up to 465 should only take you about 5 minutes. So everything's moving along just fine out there on the roadways. Let's take a look at this area right now. I-74 at Acton Road looks pretty empty out there. You can also see the roads are dry. No matter where you're headed, should be a beautiful morning drive.
Elena, thank you.
Uber wants to take its rideshare service to new heights, and it sounds like something straight out of the Jetsons. The company unveiled its first electric passenger aircraft prototype, what looks like helicopter plane hybrid, at its Elevate conference. Uber says the aircraft will be able to take off and land from a pad like a helicopter and fly up to 150 miles an hour. The company says riders will be able to take a 20-mile trip across a city in just a few minutes. Uber's entry into air transportation will begin July 9th with a helicopter service from Manhattan to JFK Airport.
The work along College Avenue for the Red Line bus route continues this morning. The closures you need to know about before heading out.
Working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana. Working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:52. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. We are working for you, helping you get your Wednesday morning started.
We have your top stories covered, and Lena Martella is keeping a close eye on traffic. We do want to start things off with Todd Clausen. And Todd, you look like a giant on top of the city right now with like that shot.
Hovering over the city.
Yeah. God, Toddzilla.
Yeah, that's just
I like that.
That's just what I do. That's just what I do. All right, here's JW Marriott. Here's the zoo, White River State Park. Be a great place to be here later on today, as it's going to be a beautiful day for us. As we work our way throughout the morning hours, we'll start partly cloudy, and then as we work our way into the late afternoon hours, we'll start with clouds increasing across the area, going from the 50s here this morning to about 68 already by 10 a.m. High temperatures this afternoon will top off between 75 and 80 degrees. As far as rain chances today, they are in the forecast, but most of them are from sunset, which is 9:13, and then into the remainder of the overnight hours.
Todd, thank you. Right now, officials are working to track down 3 people charged with animal abuse so they can be arrested. The suspects were charged after this video went viral showing animals at Fair Oaks Farms in northwest Indiana being abused. Santiago Contreras, Edgar Vasquez, and Miguel Serrano are all being charged with misdemeanors for beating an animal.
Good morning. We are in the 100 deadliest days of summer. It started on Memorial Day, and it's connected to teens. So on average, 260 teens are killed in crashes each month in the summer, and 10 people are killed in crashes each day involving teens during these months. Drivers ed instructors say when riding with your teen, ask them about signs they just passed, and if they remembered it, they need to stay alert. Texting and driving and speeding are 2 major factors that can lead to teen crashes. AAA says continue going with your teen, especially when driving during rush hour, city traffic, bad weather, and at night. Back to you guys in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. Today, Redline Construction will close a portion of College Avenue on the north side. As long as the weather holds up, crews will close College at Broad Ripple Avenue to install bus pads at that station. This is just the latest in a series of closures that have happened in the past few weeks. More Redline work continues tomorrow. Crews will be repaving along College Avenue from 38th to 66th as long as it's not raining.
Today, hundreds of first responders and airport workers will prepare for an emergency. The Indianapolis International Airport will host an airport preparedness exercise, something required by the FAA to happen every 3 years. Volunteers will simulate a plane crash emergency staged near a plane, all wearing makeup to imitate injuries. First responders and airport personnel will then run through what they would do in case of an emergency. That exercise is happening around 10 o'clock this morning. Alyssa.
A new partnership between the Better Business Bureau and several other organizations in our community is aiming to protect elderly folks here in Indiana. The group is called InCase, the Indiana Council Against Senior Exploitation. The goal is to provide resources for older people and education to help prevent them becoming victims of fraud, scams, and abuse.
Alyssa, thank you. Strawberry lovers, listen up. Final preparations are underway for this year's Christ Church Cathedral Strawberry Festival. This happens every year on the Circle. It's the 54th year the church will be selling homemade strawberry shortcake and ice cream. Carryout starts at 9 tomorrow morning. Then at 9:30, they'll start selling on the Circle. It is cash only, and they will keep selling until they're sold out.
Tonight, a new hockey team will raise the Stanley Cup and celebrate a championship. The St. Louis Blues and Boston Bruins face off in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Blues are looking for their first cup in franchise history, while the Bruins are looking to add another win and join a League of Boston champions. The city of Boston has already celebrated Super Bowl and World Series wins in the past year. Elena.
Not too much is happening as you're hitting the road, so if you're coming in from this northwest side, heading southbound on I-65 from I-865 up in the dogleg down to I-70. It should only take you about 17 minutes, so all's moving along without delay.
It's a dry morning commute for you and a dry evening commute for the most part. We'll start off with partly sunny skies here this morning, turn it mostly cloudy as we get towards the evening commute, but we are not expecting any rain until really after sunset. Yes, there could be a stray shower before that, but nothing that's going to hamper plans. Temperatures today, they will be in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, morning showers, some of which could linger into the afternoon. And then Friday is a great day before it turns unsettled once again, heading into the weekend and beyond, with temperatures getting back up into the 80s by Sunday afternoon.
Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates.
We leave you now with a live look on this Wednesday morning. We hope you enjoy your day.